first one, and I'm telling you why. You're the first one. You are the first college player I ever trained. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
And when you contacted me about a couple of years ago,
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
I was very excited because I always trained youngers before. And so I was very excited, nervous in a good way, because I saw that as a great opportunity to see if my methodology of training was working, not just with little kids but also with olders. Of course, I changed a little bit of things to make the pace higher and make it more challenging, but you were my first one. So, but also you are the first one, maybe you don't know that I told about the idea of making these podcasts.
You told me that about a year ago.
You are about the first one.
What?
I don't know why I told you as the first one, but you're the first one.
I was excited.
For a few reasons. Okay, Annika, why? How did you find me, and why did you look for me for a trainer for me?
So I was after my first semester of college. My college soccer career wasn't going the way I wanted, so I figured I needed to do something to change it. And I had a friend who worked out here at Jaboka with Mike before, and she said, "Oh, I think they had like a little soccer training on the side." So I just searched you up on Instagram, trying to find stuff. I think you ended up on like my search page, and I just watched your videos, and I was like, he looks pretty good, pretty legit. So I reached out to you.
Okay.
I was
excited. What is the part of you saying my soccer career was not going exactly like I wanted? What part wasn't going?
So my freshman year entirely, I only played 43 minutes.
Okay, so playing time was low.
My playing time was low, and that's just something that I didn't want my college career to go like.
No.
And I needed to change. Both me and my coach came to that conclusion, so that's how I found you.
So you basically look, okay, what are my weak points and what can I do to make them better?
Yeah.
Because the first time I trained you, I remember just this athletic, strong, physically player.
Yeah, that's pretty much their first thought. Strong.
Strong. Okay, you ready to warm up?
Yeah.
Name.
Annika.
Favorite number.
Number 2.
Favorite sport.
Soccer.
Second favorite sport.
Probably baseball.
Baseball. Favorite activity to do out of soccer. It can be anything, like any artistic activity.
Heavy weightlifting.
Heavy weightlifting, okay. Favorite professional player.
Probably right now, Julie Ertz.
Okay. Name 3 professional clubs, men or women.
So we're gonna go with the Chicago Red Stars for the NWSL. Let's do Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Okay. Name 3 professional Italian clubs.
Oh goodness. Let's see. Is Juventus one of them?
Yes.
Milan?
Yes.
I think that's all I have.
It's great. It's better than you think. Name 3 professional players, men or women.
So Julie Ertz is probably my one. And Mallory Pugh, looked up to her, and probably Abby Wambach.
Favorite music genre.
Hip hop, rap, and country.
Do you speak any other language other than English?
I understand both Spanish and Dutch. Not very fluent in either.
Do you know any Italian words?
No.
Would you like me to teach you an Italian word?
Yeah.
What would you want me to teach?
Let's do the word love.
Love? Oh, amore.
Amore?
Amore, yes.
Okay,
That's
okay.
great. You feel warmed up?
Yes, yeah.
Annika, why soccer? Why do you play soccer?
So growing up, I played softball, and softball was really natural to me. My family watched it all the time, and my friends got me into soccer, and it honestly wasn't a sport I was good at, and so I liked the challenge, and I continually wanted to get better at it.
That's interesting. So is it something that you asked to your parents, or they just trying everything, they decided to keep you in it?
I think it was kind of a combination, like trying everything. I was my parents' first child, so just trying to get involved as much as possible. And then all my friends were doing it, so obviously at a young age.
What age did you start playing?
I started doing rec when I was 4 and club when I was 8.
Okay, 8. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite position?
Oh gosh.
Actually, sorry. Let's start with what's your position. Might be not the same. What's your position that you play?
So right now I play the 6, which is the holding midfield position.
Okay. And what's your favorite position?
Right now, either that or center back.
Center back.
Yeah.
Because you told me for a long time you play center back.
Yeah. Going into college, that's the position I played for years, and then I got to college and we had different plans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I remember telling you, with your shot, it's kind of a waste being that far from goal.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy shot. What is the most exciting thing about a game?
Probably 1v1 stuff.
Winning 1v1 or like beating an opponent, like defending on 1v1. Which one?
Yeah, so defending for me more than attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been like really good at attacking, which is another reason why I came to you.
Yeah.
But just that anxiety, I guess you could say. I live off adrenaline, like just winning a tackle that could have been the game decision.
And it's you know how important it is also, and I have other experiences with defenders training with me for years and learning all the skills. It's important to know the skills, not to do it, of course, if you play defender in your own box.
Yeah.
Otherwise your coach will get crazy mad at you. But to know what's coming. When you play against very good skilled opponents, you know what's coming, you know what they're trying to do, and you know how to prevent that. You're stepping ahead.
Exactly.
That's why I think it's important also for defender work on skills, so they know what could potentially come from opponents.
Exactly.
Did it happen to you in a game that you actually foresee something coming or no?
I mean, yes and no.
Yes and no.
Like, you can kind of read the room, and essentially you knew what was happening. Even like some of the little combinations that we do, I'm like, oh, there's a scissor coming. Like, I'm gonna go in now.
Exactly.
And I'd win tackles.
So timing, yeah. So timing is yeah. How much winning influence your idea of your own performance? So, for example, let's say your team wins, but you have a very bad game. How do you feel?
So I actually have a personal story about this. My best game that my coach says that I say came right after another game that I did terrible in. My team, I think we won or tied. And so our team did good as a whole, but me as myself, I did not do good. So that entire week of practice, it was my main goal to do better, and that's exactly what I did. My coach said, I've never seen a player play like you did that game. And I think just knowing what I could have lost, which was my starting position, I needed to change that.
That's the beauty of our game, I call it. That's the beauty of soccer, that you actually have the chance every Sunday, every week to prove yourself. You have a bad game, okay, if you have right away a chance. It's not like, the Olympic Games or those events that you have every year, now you have to wait a whole year to prove yourself.
Exactly.
That's a great advantage, I think. And what about the opposite? Like, your team loses, but you have a fantastic game. How do you feel about those days?
I mean, obviously you're disappointed that your team didn't do as you had hoped, but especially as my position as a holding midfielder, and I know that I played well, I distributed the ball where I needed to. At the end of the day, I knew I can't do everything. It is a team sport, essentially, and I do my best, and I just have to encourage my teammates to do better next time.
Perfect. Yeah, I like it. So you take that as a leadership proof and kind of drag your teammates to go at your level.
Yeah, definitely.
That's important. This is a tough one. How do you stay motivated in those days that you don't want to train?
Oh gosh. These days, especially with what's going on right now, it's a lot. I think just knowing what I have to lose, especially being in college, knowing that I do have the option to not essentially play soccer anymore, and that's just not something I want to give up at the moment. And especially recently, probably within the last month or so, I've known I have a lot to lose, and I don't want to go run, or I don't want to go lift because I know I'm going to be sore. At the end of the day, I feel good after I do it.
That's true.
I think that's what keeps me motivated.
Yeah. Something that blows my mind is that what you just said is I might have, this is my last years, and then I might not play anymore. You are just at the beginning. In Italy, in people at 18 years old, players, mostly men, thankfully, is turning right now. Also, women start playing. They start at 18 years old. Like, that's the beginning to, okay, what level I'm going to play for my career. For you, it's almost the end. I just can't wrap my head around this over here in the US.
Yeah.
Such a waste of culture, soccer culture.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me. There's no chance for you if you want to play, keep playing. Is there any chance? I'm genuinely asking because I'm kind of ignorant about this over here in the US. What kind of option will you have if you want to keep playing after college?
I mean, the NWSL is really growing right now. That's the only like American league.
Mm-hmm.
They just added another team, Louisville, and I know LA's getting one.
Women's you're talking about.
Yeah,
yes.
Women's. They're getting one. But that's the only option really in America. I mean, you kind of have like the WPSL, which is kind of like a lower level than the NWSL, which I trained with them over summer, which I could do that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's more like club playing than like professionally or semi-professional.
It would be really merely for fun. Nothing, and there's no other purpose, right?
Yeah.
It would stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you a student of the game or you are just a player of the game? Do you like to ask questions and to the coach and be into the things that the coach says, or just, coach, tell me what you do and I'll do it?
I think I'm a student of the game, especially as a defender. There's come a time where I know I'm not the fastest, and so I have to learn how to work around that, especially as a defender and a holding defender. You know, you have to learn what's going to be a shortcut, how am I going to do that, or even if I make a good pass, it's like, okay, but what could I have done to maybe skip that next line? And so I think I'm a learner of the game. I love watching, especially like college women's games. I'll sit in my room for hours and hours and watch games. So
that's very, very important. And like you said, too many times physicality is put in first place. But there's so many other ways in this game to outplay your opponent. Like you can play smarter, you can play faster in the sense, anticipate the next play.
Exactly.
So it's very, very important. What's your last thought before a game?
So my last thought, I mean, I don't know. It might be a little weird to some people, but mine is relax, be confident, and don't overthink. That tends to be something that I do a lot, even in my regular day life. I'm not confident in myself and what I do or the decisions I make, and that was something that I struggled with, especially my freshman year. I just kind of did what my coach told me to do, which was pass here, pass there. Didn't really read the game itself. I wasn't essentially playing soccer. So, yeah.
You're just executing.
Yeah, I think just relax, trust myself, and don't overthink.
That's a very important point to become a thinker. That's why part of the training that I do it to force the players to think. I believe, and it's something that I learned as a young coach, that you're not playing at the PlayStation when you're coaching. You're not like maneuvering the players on the field and telling them what to do. They, at one point, they have to make their own decision because they are there. You are outside and you have a different view, you have a different feeling. The player is on the field, the player has to make the decisions. So in the end,
I think that's the beauty of soccer too.
I agree. And that's the other thing. Some player that is have a higher soccer IQ and a higher vision can see something that other players don't see. And that's the beauty. And like you said, that's the beauty. Everybody has a different strength, like mentally, vision-wise and IQ-wise.
Yeah.
Do you have any lucky superstitions before the game? Lucky rituals?
So I always wear, especially I think this has been my ritual since college, I always wear a scrunchie in my hair. I don't know why, but I've had my best games wearing a scrunchie, and when I was playing club, it was always I had to have blue pre-wrap in my hair. Always had to do it. I always had my best games wearing that. And that kind of follows into college, but now it's kind of more like I need to have a scrunchie in my hair for some reason.
Now I feel a little embarrassed, but I don't care. What's a scrunchie?
So,
I've never heard that word.
I kind of have, it's like
okay, that's a
this,
hairband.
but it's thicker.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a hairband. Like,
Yeah, it's a hair tie.
Okay. Blue, you said, has to be?
Yeah.
Or, okay, no, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why blue?
I mean, blue's my favorite color.
Oh, okay, that's your favorite.
And it, especially when I was getting recruited, like, it sticks you out.
Okay,
So-
okay, that's interesting. Okay, yes, okay. What happened if you forget the blue scrunchie? Do you still play?
Yeah.
You refuse to play?
I'll just do a different hairstyle, have my hair braided or
But
something.
you know it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, I get nervous. I'm like,
Ah.
if I mess up, it's because I didn't have my scrunchie with
That's
me.
a great excuse. Did you ever tell the coach that?
No, I haven't.
Coach yelled at you and said, Coach, I don't have my hair, my scrunchie.
Probably just look at me like I was crazy.
The serious part of the question is, how would you find focus before a game? Like, do you have a routine that you follow, like the same day or the night before to prepare?
So especially in my younger days, I didn't really eat before games. I just have a very like heavy stomach, so anything I ate, it just kind of sat.
Yeah.
Now in college, obviously, like you're putting your body through a lot more stuff. You're also older. I tend to eat a light snack. If we have a night game, I kind of just tend to focus and relax the majority of the day. Hydrate, especially, drink lots of water. Sometimes I'll throw in like a Pedialyte.
Yeah, especially in the summer. It gets
Oh
so
yeah.
dry.
So yeah, and then once I get to the field, it's kind of like stretch, listen to my music, I don't really have, I kind of keep to myself. Most people on my team or other places that I've seen like kind of like dance or wild out, and I just kind of like to keep to myself.
Yeah, and there's different, that's why I like to know from different players. Everybody has a different reaction. The dance that you say, the singing is just a different way to do what you do.
Exactly. And I mean, everybody has their way, and if that's going to get your heart rate pumping, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Did it ever happen to you while you're inside yourself before a game to see the game? To foresee what was going to be?
So I actually kind of had like a moment. It was my college season, my sophomore year, so fall of 2019. We were playing in a visitor game, so we were away team, and we were driving up there, and I just kind of had this sense in myself that like something was gonna happen today, and I told myself I'm gonna have a good game. And going back to your question earlier, like, yeah, it's a team sport, but I need to do well myself, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help my team get that win. And just going into that game, I was excited and I executed.
Did you see particular actions that you would do?
I had an app on my phone that brought up quotes, and the quote of that day was that, I don't remember it exactly, but essentially it was, someone can't tell you no to something you've never done before. They can't judge you on something you've never done before. And I scored my first college goal that night in overtime.
Do you know that you created that moment? It wasn't a coincidence.
I mean, that game was a lot of emotions going through me. I kind of got pulled out, wasn't really happy about it, but I didn't let that affect me, and I got the outcome that my team really needed.
What if you start doing consistently that you start before the game thinking and seeing and like on purpose? I bet that would happen more often. It's something that you can control. It's something very, very common in sports psychology called as visualization. It's something that athletes, like high level athletes, use. Have you ever happened to watch like Olympic games? That I'm thinking, like swimmers or like skiers or cyclists, when they're preparing, they have their big headphones and everything.
Yeah.
With their eyes closed, and they're mimicking. It's like they're mimicking what they're doing. They're actually doing what their course or their swim in their head, like physically. And that's I believe a lot in that. That could be something very, very useful. And it's a fun game to play.
Oh yeah.
How much soccer is an individual sport within the team sport?
It's a lot. I think majority of it is individualized, but it's what you do individually that creates it a team sport. So, for example, you have your goalkeeper, you have your midfield, your defense, your forwards. As a midfielder, it's your job to distribute to the forwards or your attacking midfielders, but you have to trust yourself to trust them in order to do their job.
Yeah, I agree. It's individual. And tell me if it's true. For me, it was older I grew and I was playing, and more is that more like an individual part as a heavy, like a weight on the whole team.
Oh yeah.
Like more you perform individual, and more your team will get the benefits. Worse you perform, and worse is the effect on the team.
Definitely.
Yeah. What is soccer teaching you in life, in all this journey?
It's taught me a lot. It's taught me that my life isn't just soccer.
Oh, yes.
And that's something that
Such a
I've
hard
kind of
lesson.
struggled with. Just knowing that soccer is going to be a part of my life, just maybe not always in the way that I want it, but it's always going to be something that I can fall back to, have it be an escape, have it be something that I'm so passionate about. But yeah, I think that's the main part.
Yeah, something that every player struggles at the moment that they will have to make the decision. I didn't personally feel that much the change because I fell into coaching right away. Actually, I was still playing when I was start coaching. So, but yeah, I agree, and it will be always something that you can rely on.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
They're the best. Love-hate relationship. You love and you hate. That means it's something really important to you.
Yeah, I can't
Otherwise-
see my life without soccer.
No. Tell me one thing that you like and one thing that you hate about the game itself, playing the game.
One thing that I like is being able to experience such grand moments with other people. You look at like wrestling, for example, like that's a great individual success, but at the same time, I'm a very people person, so I need to celebrate,
Share it.
Yeah, I need to be able to celebrate my success or someone else's success with them.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I hate about the game, oh gosh, probably just, this is kind of dumb, how much running it is, how much excess running it is.
Yeah.
But that's the game, and that's what you sign up for,
Yeah.
and it keeps you fit.
Let me tell you one thing though. You might not like it. That's kind of American soccer.
Yeah, no, I know it's American soccer.
In Europe, we run a lot less. Make the ball run more.
Oh yeah.
But it's the same. Nobody likes I don't know one player in my life that loved running.
Yeah.
I started love running after I stopped playing. When I just went for run.
Yeah.
If you want to play, you want the ball. You want to play with the ball.
Yeah.
And then let's go a little more deep. One thing that you like about training, my trainings, and one thing that you would improve in my trainings.
So I like your training a lot because it essentially is working on what I never wanted to work on growing up, which was my technical work. And look, like, especially you have me looking over my shoulder, checking those lights, checking those colors. Like, that's not something I was ever good at, something I never really wanted to train. So just kind of you forcing me to do it, essentially. I came back and my coach was like, oh, wow, like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, oh, that was Ricardo.
all the colors.
Yeah, but one thing that I would want to change, maybe a little more shooting at the end.
A little more shooting, okay.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I know. It's not too big, but the space for shooting. But yeah, I'm always late though. I always finish late. I have a plan in my head. I always end up late. That's why we shoot it too late. What was the highest point of your career, and what was the lowest point of your career?
So I'll start with my lowest because it kind of goes into my highest. So my lowest was my freshman year of college. So like I said, our season's in the fall, so the first semester only played 43 minutes. And I wasn't really playing soccer. I was just kind of I don't know how to explain it. It's just my parents described it as like I didn't look like myself out there. I was very hesitant, like wasn't confident myself. And my coach kind of was like, well, I don't know if this is a good fit for you here at the end of the day. And that was going into the summer. And I didn't want to give up because I loved where I was at. I loved the team I was with. So I made it my goal to work my butt off essentially that summer. I played with the WPSL team in the Bay Area, and they were all high Division I players. And they were way better than me, but it essentially made me better at the end of the day. And that then went into my sophomore year where I started every single game for league. I think I played over 1,000 minutes, and I got my first career assist, my first career goal. And I think those both games were my high.
Yeah, I kind of got a goosebumps. I'm telling you why, because that was the time you came to me, right?
Exactly.
So I feel a little bit a part in your. So I'm very.
Well, I remember one specific moment. I came to you going into my second semester of my freshman year, and I remember you having us do a drill where we flick the ball over the rope. And our first day back at practice, we were scrimmaging with some of the boys, and I did that. And my coach, I did it against one of our senior boy players, and my coach was like, "How did you get out of that?" And just me not even recognizing that I had done it because I had practiced it so many times with you. I'm like, now I was starting to realize like I need to keep going to him because it's just so natural now.
Yeah, that's the end. That's what you want. You want to breathe what you do. You don't want to remember and do it. You just want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it becomes part of your game. That's great. How do you deal with doubts and fears?
Oh gosh, so doubts and fears is kind of what my college career was at first. Not knowing if I was ever going to play.
Yeah.
And if I did play, I was thrown into positions I never played before. So I think just making the most out of it, essentially. You're always going to have doubts, you're always going to have fear, but it's how you handle it and how you go about it.
How you react.
Yeah, and you just kind of have to take it one foot at a time.
Yeah, I have to say, you were very brave and mature in your reaction, because you actually recognize, not easy to recognize, okay, I need to change something, otherwise I'm losing everything that I worked for.
Exactly, yeah.
And you just did it.
And I think that was my biggest fear, was stop playing.
Yeah.
Because essentially that could have been an option, and at the end of the day, that's not something that I wanted.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. What is the story that influenced your career? Something that in your head changed, a switch that happened in your head. It can be any kind of story, a story of not soccer related, that motivates you though to push.
So my junior year of high school, I had a health problem, and I was going to be taken off of all athletics for 3 months, and that was going into my high school season. I went to not a great high school. Most schools in my league were all club players, and we had maybe 2 or 3. And we came out second in league that year. And going into that season with the knowledge that I might not be able to play and participate, I knew I'd be letting my team down, and I'd be letting myself down. And I think the sheer fact of trying to recognize that I might not have soccer, that was the worst thing that I could have ever done. So that was my point in time where I knew I needed to keep myself healthy in order to continue to do it as what I love.
What's your next chapter from now on? What would you see next?
So after I graduate, planning to graduate in the spring of 2022. I want to go and coach. I want to coach with my club team that I played with.
Oh, that's great.
In Stockton. But I also want to be a teacher, so I need to do another year of credential programs. Mm-hmm. But I would also like to coach at whatever high school I work at as well.
Give back to the game.
Especially, yeah.
And it's going to be so natural. I can tell. It's going to be such a natural transition.
Oh, yeah.
To go teach to the. What would you? Do you have any idea? Would you like to coach a little older, a little younger? You like a little younger kids? You like to coach older players?
I think maybe like middle school, high school.
Okay.
Because my ultimate goal is what would satisfy me is getting my players to a college or something at a higher level. That's gonna be my satisfaction as a coach. So doing that is probably what I would be. That age group.
So let's take this next chapter. Close your eyes and tell me, okay, what's a scene that you see yourself doing?
So I see myself with my team playing at probably one of the biggest tournaments, and just them executing everything we practiced, and just having college coaches coming up to me asking about every single player.
Oh, that's great. Makes you feel good, huh?
Yeah, I
know.
mean, it gives me chills.
I know, that's a fun game. That's what we were talking before. I was telling you before, like about game. You can do this about anything.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
In the moments that you probably don't feel there in life, moments are not going to feel good always, but you can always foresee the love for what you want to do, and that will move something in your future. Future. So real fast. Can you tell me something about what you did in case some younger player listen to this about your recruiting process? So what did you do to get a recruiter from East Bay coach, right?
Yeah, so I went to a lot of I don't remember what they're called, but
ID camp?
ID camps, yes, thank you, where a lot of college coaches went, and I just went to those. Anytime I was playing at a big tournament, I would email all the coaches that I was interested in, just telling them, being short and sweet, my name, my number, the club I play for, and my game schedule with the field, times, all that. Just always staying in communication with them.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
You have to take responsibility of your future, basically.
Yeah.
You have to step towards them.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I would say for anyone younger is you need to do it yourself. Because the biggest thing that you hear from coaches is we don't want to talk to the parents. We want to talk to the players. We want to get to know the players. Because essentially the player is the one that's going to be in the program.
Also because probably they want to know the personality of the players.
Exactly.
If it's a good a good person before a good player, if it's a good fit for the group that they have, right?
Exactly.
How important was the support of your people around you in that moment? Very stressful, like your family, your friends, your boyfriend.
Yeah, so my family was also always very supportive. I'm like I said earlier, I'm the oldest, so I started playing club when I was 8, and my parents didn't really have much at the time, but they knew it was something that I was passionate about, so they were there supporting me all the time. My grandparents were supporting me. My entire family was supporting me. They might not physically have been there, but they'd always ask about it. My boyfriend has always been the biggest supporter for me, even through high school. Like, just being there for me, pushing me, and being honest with me. I think that was the biggest thing. Like, recognizing, like, hey, you didn't have the greatest game, but what can you do next? That's one of the biggest things that my college coach now, our thing is what's next? You messed up, what's next?
What's next, yeah, absolutely. Annika, it's been a great pleasure. Let me finish with one thing that happened just 2 days ago that I'm admiring you for. 2 days ago, we just had a misunderstanding. You skip a training, so I told you, look, I have an hour later. You can come later. They're just younger than you. If you're okay with that, but if they're still okay, I mean, you can still get your training.
Yeah.
So no problem, I'll get it. I absolutely loved the fact that you interact with those younger girls and you answer all their questions because they saw you older, they saw your and I told them before you got there, you're going to train with a college player today. And they were so, not intimidated, but curious, they're so curious.
Yeah.
And especially one of the two, she was asking you 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
And you were just very kindly answering and trying to be nice to her and to them, to both. And so I very much love that part. So I'm a part that I love about my training, my work, is that sometimes that happens for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I get to actually see interaction between older players and younger players, and that is huge. I am sure that day, 2 days ago, you left something into, especially the very chatty girl, and you left something into her, and I want to thank you for that, because it's different. I genuinely believe it's different. Those words coming from a girl to a girl than from me that I'm a man to a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it at the time. I just, at that age, I was very curious too. I was nervous as heck to talk to someone, but the sheer fact that she had the courage to ask me those questions, I was happy to answer them.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for this chat. It's been lovely. I would love to do a follow-up. Hopefully you go back to play soon. When you come back with Nick in some session, we can do a follow-up and talk again.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. was fun, huh?
Yeah, I
love
liked
this
it. I was
thing.
nervous, but
You
I
were?
liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I'm getting relaxed. I was the first like couple of times I was a little nervous.
Yeah. I mean that's everybody.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I liked it.